But what you got to do is throw in a little Texas whistle in there with those S's.
Can you do a celebrity impression?
I mean, I have accents that I think are funny, but like they're not geared after any particular celebrity.
Oh, okay. Well, give us one
You know
of
what
your
I mean?
accents and let me see how bad it is.
I tell you what, man, we're gonna go on down to that farm and get us a couple of them cows. You know what I'm saying?
What is that supposed to? I mean, I know what it's like. What are you in your mind? What is
Like-
that supposed to be?
Actually, you know what? People have told me I can do a pretty good boomhauer from King of the Hill.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear
Cause
it.
I'll be like, man, baby, I'm gonna get down to go show, man. To tell you what, man, I'm gonna go down and get beer and to show, man.
Okay, that's not. I feel like that's better than I thought it would be. I'm not going to go ahead and say it was good, but
Yeah,
it
it's
was
not good.
definitely better than I thought.
I don't know where you're going with this, but I do feel the need to say that I feel impersonators in general, like the guy that was on Fox, the NFL show, Jeff Dunham, like it's an art. I mean, it is hard to do a good impression of somebody. I mean, God, who could ever forget when Alec Baldwin played Trump? I mean, that was gold.
I mean, I
But-
can forget it because I don't think I ever saw it. But
Well,
I
that's
don't
'cause
really
you-
remember any. I don't think I think I'm one of the few people in the world who has never actually watched Saturday Night Live.
Like ever, not even
Ever.
a skit.
Ever. I've seen skits, but I've never like sat down and watched the show. Never sat down and watched Friends. Never watched The Office, Parks and Rec. Pretty much any big TV show I've never actually sat down. Lost, Survivor, any reality television show.
I'm there with you, like on Friends and Seinfeld, but I've seen most of the other mainstream shows, I think.
Okay.
And you saying you have never seen Saturday Night Live, that's kind of pitiful, to be honest with you.
I've never really found it funny. If there's a skit that's funny, I'll watch that, but I've never really found the show in general to be funny.
It's kind of it's funny that we're talking about this because I just had this conversation about. Do you remember Appointment TV, 80s, 90s?
I remember like racing home from school sometimes or waking up at a certain time to like make sure that you saw X-Men. The original X-Men animated series was the one that was like, what time is that on? 8 a.m. I gotta be here.
Yeah, I remember like not being social with my friends to watch like Family Matters and TGIF on ABC on Friday nights, like from 8 to 10.
Oh, I never did that. TV's never been a huge thing for me. I like animation, which is probably why TV, and there wasn't a lot of that when I was growing up.
I know I can also do like a Billy Bob Thornton from Sling Blade, but that's also not hard.
You kind of look it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
I
what
wanna
Sling Blade
get-
is.
I'm gonna get that there apple and cut it in half. Mm-hmm. There's a guy that we don't talk about as a society enough, Billy Bob Thornton.
I feel like we talk about him an appropriate amount.
I don't think so. For what he's done, like personally and on screen, I don't think we've talked about him enough.
I think he's fine. I think that he is right where he should be, which is getting less credit for Steve than Steve Buscemi.
Oh my!
That's where I feel like he lives. He just needs to get less credit
What?
for whatever he's doing than Steve Buscemi.
That's-
Whatever his name is. He's
Yeah, I mean,
no
you were
Steve
right.
Buscemi. Don't even start. Don't even go down this road.
Fine,
You
we
can't.
won't.
You can't. He's not. He's not.
Okay. I just want to say one sentence to this. I don't think Buscemi has ever even been nominated for a major cinematic award. Not that that means like that's what you got to judge it on, but I feel like that's what we kind of have to judge this on.
I hope. Please, I'm looking. I don't know how to spell. Please be like an Academy Award winner.
No,
Screen
I mean,
Actors
maybe
Guild
no.
for Outstanding Performance, Best Performance, Film Critic Award, Emmy Award, Screen Actors Guild, Film Tribute Award, Independent Spirit Award, News and Documentary Award. Seems like he's got a lot of awards. But anyway, don't want to make
Billy
this into
Bob
the Steve
Thornton.
Buscemi versus Billy Bob Thornton.
He's won Academy Awards, Billy Bob. But anyways, okay.
Great for him. I'm very happy he's not Steve Buscemi.
He's also been married 6 times, so
Yeah,
good for him.
well, that'll happen.
All right, shout outs time. Right, we're to that point. Was that it? Was that all you had?
Yep.
All right, let's see. Melissa Gatlin, David Marinelli, a good strong, like Italian name. I don't know, Marinelli. Like Marinelli.
It's like a stereotype Italian name.
Like Mastacholi. Anyways, all right.
Pizza
Cindy,
Jack.
Yeah, see, you're doing okay, Italian. No, not really.
I'm Italian. I'm part Italian.
Never would have guessed that. I don't know where I was. Tony Lupus, Cindy Johnson, Pietra Dawn Sharonak. Dawn, right? I don't know why that was funny to me. No one else laughed. Nope. Brian Cashman, but not the Brian Cashman that was involved with the New York Yankees, because I had to look that up, of course. Angus Young, Amanda Johnson, and we're going to end here with Brian Bennett.
Do you think there would be more people named Angus if it wasn't so close to anus?
No, I don't think so. I think Angus is a old school Western European name that just hasn't really translated. Well, and like I guess you could say like Australian name too. That just hasn't really translated. Because wasn't the lead guitarist of AC/DC, isn't his nickname Angus Young or Angus something?
I know it's Angus, but I don't know what position within the band that he has. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the proximity of Angus to anus has reduced the number of Anguses by 75%. It's just too close. You can't risk it. Like if I'm a dad and my wife says, hey, I am a dad, but if my wife is like, let's name our son Angus, I'd be like, nope, it's too close to anus.
Angus Young. I knew I was right. No, I don't think that. That's just like, do people not say Uranus because anus is in the name of the planet? Like whoever named technically it's Uranus, but whoever named that was like, these friggin' idiots are going to be saying Uranus for millions of years. That
was one of the and you would never have been able to guess that was how that name was going to evolve. Like they had no idea. I think the actual pronunciation isn't even Uranus. I think it's like Uranos. But he's one of the gods of the Greek pantheon, I believe. Ancient Roman history major in college finally got a chance to trot that sucker out after paying how much for it?
K-State, baby. Purple Pig.
Oh, I missed that bar. Okay, all right.
Let's see. I feel like we have to talk a little bit, at least a sentence about the wildfires in California, because I don't know. I guess being on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast, but you're well north of California, obviously. Mm-hmm. Like when I hear forest fires, field fires in California, I'm like, okay, no big deal, right? Like there was a couple 4 or 5 years ago, like it was the biggest fire in American history or something. She's like, okay. But for some reason, these fires have seemed to captivate everyone's attention. I think it's probably only because of the proximity to LA itself. But I also think from watching several reports, it proves that some people are just really stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going out on a limb to make an argument that given the current state of the climate, we have built in places that we probably shouldn't have built in. And nature does not, you don't get second chances, and it's going to hand you your ass. So I think that we're in the result. I think that moving forward, as somebody who has worked in the insurance industry, some places to live are just going to be so absolutely expensive to insure that you're not going to be able to live there. And maybe we should now, I think that we as a society, and you can look at this from where we build to what we do with technology, I think that we have eclipsed the part of can we do this and moved into the part of should we do this? Should we do this with AI? Should we build in this location just because we can? And I think that we're finding out that a lot of the answers are like, just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should.
Apparently someone is watching us because they just texted me and said, why are you calling people idiots who are fleeing their homes? And here's my reasoning for that.
Man, that was quick.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been like 40 seconds. Here's my reasoning for that. Simply put, I've watched a lot of clips of actors who are like, I'm going to stay with my house. And once again, they're probably $1 million houses. You know, a lot of them have been through things like this before. But if someone tells me to get out, and this actually reminds me, I'm sorry, Nick, for the minute rant, reminds me of the Mount St. Helens explosion of 1980.
How does this remind you of that? You weren't born in 1980. You weren't alive in 1980, so it doesn't remind you of this in any way. It reminds me of the 3-second clip I saw in the news, and now let me relate this to what I am currently also experiencing through television.
There was a movie released, and I've seen the movie several times.
But fiction or documentary? Fiction or documentary?
Documentary fiction?
Animaniacs? Was it Animaniacs?
Hold on. I'm going to circle it back if you stop cutting me off.
I've seen many documentaries about animals. I believe it's called Looney Tunes.
So there was one old man who refused to leave his home, even though everyone told him to go. That if the mountain blew on the side that it was going to blow up, the lava was going to come down, he'd have no chance and he was going to die. Well, guess what happened? That happened. He ignored everyone and he died. I feel like if someone hands you or tells you to get out of your house, there's fire coming and you don't do it, and I'm going to sound like a callous asshole here, like, isn't it your fault if you don't listen to the warnings?
I understand what you're saying. I think, though, that in reality, it's never that simple. That it's not just, people can't just leave. It's never that simple as, okay, you know what, just grab your stuff and go. But what about the 88-year-old man who's got his medication there and he's lived there with his wife for however many decades, and that's the only thing that he has left of her? Like, I agree with what you're saying. I just think that in reality, it's not that simple.
And I don't disagree with you. I just feel like it's life or it's literally possible death. And I'd like to live. I don't know. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I guess if I'm 88, maybe I'd have a different viewpoint.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think that it's complicated, right? Like, I think that, like a lot of things in life, it becomes complicated once you really get into it. Because people, like as in all of us, we're pretty stupid. Altogether, we're pretty stupid. But a person by themselves is generally not stupid, and they have reasons for the decisions that they make. And I think that if you were probably in those same circumstances and had their situation, their experiences, their intelligence level, their whatever, you would probably make the same decision as they did. I just don't think we're really that different from each other at the end of the day. Like, you would have probably done the same thing as the person that you probably think is an idiot if you were in their circumstances, knowing what they know.
I don't know. I think it's a good talk to have, and I also think with the changing climate, all you crazy people out there that don't believe in it, like, you have to have, wherever you live, like, you have to be thinking about, like, these things could happen, like, wherever you live. But anyways, don't worry though.
We are in 2025 is the year of fuck around, find out. And we've been fucking around with the climate, and now we're going to find out. And it's not going to be good because nature is going to crush us. It's like you can't even compare to it in any way. Like, and there's no room for bull. Like, it's going to do whatever it wants to do, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I got to tell you, in Metro Detroit where I live, we're supposed to have 20 inches of snow by now.
Then let's see right here. 17 minutes is probably one of the longest that John has ever been able to go before he brought up the weather. 17 minutes in, that's pretty impressive. That's good for you.
Okay. I got made fun of by a coworker, and I want to get your opinion on this.
I'm sure that person was right.
Chime in on this. So every morning, we have a security guard at my work. You have to, badge in. They open up the gate, whatever you go through. Every morning, his name's John too, by the way. Shout out. I don't think he listens, but if he ever does, I'm going to tell him about it tomorrow morning. Every morning when I badge in, we talk about two things. The sporting events that happened the night before, whether it's the Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, whatever, and always the weather. Does that mean I'm an old man?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does, dude. If it's every day, like the thing that I don't understand about the conversation about the weather is, especially with somebody who was there where you are, they know what it's like. I'm not like,
I mean,
do I?
no, we talk about like, hey man, like you're a guard in a guard, the guard check, like make sure you bundle up today, which I guess sounds kind of stupid.
Which is kind of stupid. Like he's already outside. He knows what the weather is like. I wouldn't like. Okay, it's 5:30 here in Seattle, Washington right now. Seattle, Washington. It's dark outside. I wouldn't walk outside and see the person on the street walking by and be like, "Hey, dark out here, isn't it?" Like, yeah, I know. I'm experiencing this thing at the exact same time that you are. You're literally telling me no new information that I didn't know. Like, hey, cold out here. Like, I know.
You know what? It's our special minute, all right? Leave me alone.
If you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but just don't try to justify it. Like, it's like, hey, he probably hates you. He probably doesn't want to talk to you about the weather.
Do you think when he sees my car pull up, he's like, please, God, be on the phone. Don't talk to me. And then I'm like, hey, how are you?
Oh, every single person in this planet, on this planet, has at least 3 or 4 people that like, oh, God, I got to talk to this person about this. And they think that I want to talk to them. I can think of 3 people just right off the top of my head that I talk to about something, and they think that I want to talk to them about it, and I don't. I don't want to talk to them about it.
And here I think this entire time that he's liked me, and now I realize he probably hates me.
Probably hates your guts, because you're the kind of guy that just thinks that people should just don't worry about this big wildfire.
No.
God, that's amazing that somebody texted you 40 seconds after you said it to like, don't, just bail out. And then you kept going. And then you kept it going. Like, I mean, no.
Well, listen,
let me bring this up again. And you're going to do it again. You're about to do it again. Don't do it.
Because I feel like you're making me like, no, it's not that if someone hands you an evacuation order, I don't care. It's life over the possible anything else. Like, I just don't understand. Just do it. I would do it.
But I think that people who don't feel that they will lose they will lose enough of their life if they don't. Like, okay, I may not be dead, but everything around me that I cherish and value will be gone. And I need to stay here and protect what part of my life I can. So I'm just saying that I think I get what you're saying. I get the judgment that you have. I understand it. But I think that people have different circumstances that you probably aren't aware of. And that if you were in those circumstances, you would probably make the same decision.
Fine. We'll move on. All right. This could be
Or I could just be like, you're a dick.
You could be. I'm sure some are going to say that, which I guess is fine. Though that's not how I want it to come across.
I know. I will say this if I can interrupt you one more time. For people who may have heard this, John is actually a nice and caring person. He's not nearly as much of a jerk as he sounds like in that conversation. He's actually very thoughtful and is a good friend. Incredibly small penis, which he tries to make up for by blaming people for wildfires.
TikTok could be the last week for TikTok. And it's probably the only social media that I actually enjoy.
There's something about the algorithm that makes it, because you're exposed to something new. And nobody else, no other social media platform seems to have been able to capture this. I have no desire to migrate to anything else. Like, no, I think I'm just kind of done.
I just don't know what the hell is happening with X. And Instagram, I've never been a huge Instagram person. So it's a bigger debate that we shouldn't have here, but it would affect us, is that social media, TikTok gets banned and whatever, Facebook, blah, 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 isn't what it is. I don't know how certain things survive. It's a whole cultural phenomenon that is in the grasp of possibly being shut down because of all these social media bans they're talking about, specifically TikTok.
It's crazy. And the only difference is that it's like, look, I've said this many times. It's never about what someone is doing. It's always about who is doing it. It's perfectly okay for American companies to take all of our data and sell it to whoever. But if another company is doing it, it's not American, it's suddenly a big problem. Like, it's perfectly okay for the American government to spy on us. But if other people are doing it, like, so that's just my thing. It's just hypocrisy to me. It's never about what someone is doing. It's always who is doing it.
Let's see. And then I had a couple other things, but they're all kind of current events. So I'm just going to end on the question that I posed here, which is, if you could have any vein in your body protruding, you know, like weightlifters have a bicep vein, like The Rock has like the forehead vein. Would you want a calf vein? Would you want, you know, a penis vein? Like, what vein would you want to be like protruding to be like, yeah, like there it is?
I will give you a definitive list of the best veins on the body. Like, the best veins on the body to show are the bicep vein, the vein that goes like here, the shoulder vein that you can get up there, and then if you can get a vein on your leg.
Like a calf or something?
I've had a vein on my leg where I could see veins like sticking out on my legs at one time. After I got I was pretty thin already, and then I got sick and I lost some weight, but I was still like lifting because, you know, I ain't no bitch.
I ain't no bitch.
I ain't no bitch. I'm still going to be lifting. Like, I'm still in the gym with my swole mate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But anyway, it lasted for like a day. I was like, oh, there's a vein on my leg. I think actually it probably stops up here. My definitive list of veins on the body are bicep vein, vein that goes down your forearm, and then shoulder right there.
Okay.
Maybe chest. Maybe you could go chest, but then you start like, oh, that's too thin. How about yourself?
Yeah.
What vein do you want?
I would love to have like neck veins. Like
What? What?
I don't know why. I just think it would be, you know, because like
Why?
I don't know. You know how like really you probably have them. You're a skinnier guy. Like you have the ones on the side.
I don't think
too.
those are veins, dude. That's just like cartilage or
No, but
tendons.
like you have the ones on the side.
But I
Some
have to,
people
like-
do.
That's not a vein.
Like, anyways.
Oh yeah, there's one.
Yeah, or like maybe like the forehead vein or something. Like I don't know.
I don't think that you've ever did you think about this before you said
Nope.
anything? I
Not
can't
at all.
I did
Not at all.
That's the most ridiculous.
Yeah, not at all, actually. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
stay with it just because.
Okay, yeah, embrace it. Look,
Why
whenever you're confronted with with facts that directly contradict what you say, just keep plowing through, right? If you
They're
say
just
2 and 2
veins.
if you say 2 and 2 is 5 and somebody shows you it's 4, like nope, stick
Nope.
with it. Keep going.
Listen, hasn't our culture shown that you can convince people of bullshit and they will believe it? So
Well, they want to believe it. You got to get people to want to believe it. Are you
let's
done?
move
Is
on.
that your whole
I'm
thing?
done. I'm done. I'm sitting here like an old man now.
I like your what's the best vein on your body question.
There you go.
Okay, very good. I mean, I wouldn't ever choose neck, but that's do your thing. Okay, so our top 5 is the top 5 most quotable TV shows. What's your number 5?
So I have a question for you before I go into my rant here or my list. Have you seen every show that's on your list?
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I did only the shows I've seen. So.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
you don't have
fair
to see every episode of every show.
Okay, that's fair. That's all right. So my number 5 is South Park.
They took our jobs. They took your jobs. They took your jobs too.
Oh, okay. I didn't put South Park on there, but South Park is very quotable. If somebody put that at 1, I wouldn't have that big of an issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, and most people from the age, that are 40 and below, have seen some kind of South Park or rerun something. I mean, there's so many quotable lines. I mean, it's amazing what they've done for the last 25 years.
The one that jumps out to me is they took our jobs. They took our jobs. And I don't even watch South Park, and I know that one.
Anything that Cartman says is just, I mean, it just turns into a meme. Like, anything he says or does. Mom, God damn it, Kenny.
Yeah,
Mom! Like,
I don't have it on my list, but you could make an argument that would be number 1.
you absolutely could.
My number 5, The Wire.
Hey, yo, lesson here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
Come at the king, you best not miss. The Wire is incredibly quotable.
I wanted to put it on my list, but I love The Wire. I've watched The Wire. I can tell you what each season is, or like what it entails. But there's only literally 2 quotes that I can remember from the entire show.
I think the problem with The Wire is that while it has great dialogue, it doesn't present itself to everyday situations as much as a lot of the other shows on this list. I think that's what holds The Wire back.
I mean, obviously you have Omar, and then you have the council guy. And that's like all I remember, man. Those are the 2. I don't remember much more other than that.
Yeah. The F Did I Do? That's pretty good. But Come at the King You Best Not Miss is probably the biggest one from The Wire.
Also, I think my number 1 you're gonna have a huge issue with, so I'm curious to see.
Was it Wheel of Fortune? What's with you in
no.
game shows? God, you like game shows so much. I don't understand that at all.
I didn't even say game shows. I don't even like game shows that much.
Yes, you do. You bring up somebody, Pat Sajak, every other episode. Okay,
no,
number 4.
I definitely don't. Man, so there's so many. I don't know. I really struggle with the top 4 because I feel like any one of them could be number 1. But I'll go. My number 4 is The Simpsons.
If it isn't the leader of the Wiener Patrol, boning up on his nerd lessons.
Oh, no. The Simpsons should be higher up on the list. Should be higher up on the list.
Once again, like what are there's one quote that I can recall that's the most famous quote.
What is it?
Dough.
Yeah, but you eat my shorts. I do. There's a ton of them, right? Like I do one about statistics. Like 60% is like numbers will tell you anything. 60% of people know that, right? Like The Simpsons has a high Dr. Nick. There's so many from The Simpsons. The Simpsons is higher than number 4. My number 4 is Seinfeld.
Oh no, not fine. Serenity now.
Okay. I mean, I've never seen it, so I don't really know. I couldn't name you any of the quotes or anything.
I think Seinfeld, like You Want to Be My Latex Salesman, Serenity Now. Those are pretty, there's some pretty good ones from Seinfeld. I think if we were 10 or 20 years back, it would have been much higher than number 4. But right now I put Seinfeld number 4.
All right. My number 3 is Parks and Rec.
Treat yourself.
Fragrances.
Treat yourself.
Massages.
Treat yourself.
Oh, I've never seen that, but I do see that quoted a lot. People are always like Parks and Rec.
Treat yourself. That's
I say that.
One of the
Treat
most
yourself.
famous ones,
Okay.
number
I put
3?
so many. My number 5 is, my number 3 is Game of Thrones.
You know nothing.
Okay, I mean, once again, I feel like I only know, like I've seen the whole show, but I feel like there's only a couple that I remember. And I'm gonna say the one that I remember because why not? But the one where he's like, "Crown fit for king," and then he pours the molten lava or molten metal over his head.
Oh, you know nothing, Jon Snow, I would say is probably the biggest quote from that. I think what holds Game of Thrones back is the same as what holds The Wire back, is it's just not, you just can't bring it up in everyday conversation. Like it just doesn't, you don't get to transport yourself to a medieval fantasy realm and use quotes from that very often in daily situations.
Well, some people do, man.
Some people
do.
Okay.
My number 2, and it's really just because of one quote, though there's many other quotes that are well known, but it's Breaking Bad.
I am the one who knocks.
Oh, which one are you going to go with?
Oh, by far, one of the best scenes in television history. I am the one who knocks.
Yeah, that's the biggest one from Breaking Bad. I didn't put it on my list, but I really thought about Breaking Bad up there.
Okay, what's number 2?
SpongeBob.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. SpongeBob has a lot of cultural significance, especially now, I think.
I mean, I was thinking about some kids shows because a lot of kids shows Like, they've had their quotes, whether they're songs, whatever. SpongeBob's probably at the top of that list if we did, like, kid shows.
Okay, what's your number one?
You're going to hate it.
I know I am.
But it's a TV show, and it counts. And that's the WWE. Professional wrestling.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Okay. I mean, that's like stretching the definition of everything to get yourself to that. But if you're going to stretch that far, then yeah, okay.
It's a TV program, right? It's a TV program with characters, and it's all it is quotes. All it is one-liners.
I feel that you're technically correct, but violating the spirit of the entire thing. So, yes, you're technically correct.
Shut your mouth.
My number one is The Simpsons, which it should be The Simpsons. The Simpsons is the most quotable TV show. I don't think it's really that particularly close when you think about it for the length of it. I think The Simpsons is the most quotable one. There's just too many from there.
I mean, I really think my wrestling one is like, it's by far the number one.
It's by far the number one, but it's also like, yeah, but like that's not exactly the way that you're supposed to do it. Like, yes, you're technically correct, but everybody would know that you're wrong.
Are you not a real American?
Listen, I'm okay with wrestling, but like nobody would put this on their list of being like wrestling. Okay, but how? Like, okay, NBA basketball is a TV show. At the end of it, would they be like,
no, that's a sport.
Three-pointer is the most. It's still a TV show though.
It's
so
not
you're admitting wrestling's not a sport.
It's not a TV. It's not a TV specific program, right? It's sports with broadcasting.
Right. This is, again, I think, an instance of where, like, you're maybe technically you have a point and technically you have something, but everybody just kind of knows that you're wrong.
No. I bet you if you were to poll the audience, they would be on my side. And if not, I don't care. I've literally offended half of America.
Oh, well, why stop at half?
Let's just
What's on your honorable mention? What's on your honorable mention?
So I did have Game of Thrones on there. I don't know where my list went. I'm gonna try to remember this. The Sopranos. Let's see. I had The Office, The West Wing, Trailer Park Boys. Trailer Park Boys are hilarious.
I'm sure they are, but that's not a quotable TV show in no way, in any way. But okay.
Yeah, that's kind of it, if I can recall.
The other ones that I had that you didn't have, Futurama, King of the Hill.
Watch a lot of Futurama.
Did you say The Office?
Yeah, I said The Office.
Office, I would say that is up there. I saw some lists online that were like talking about quotable TV shows. Fleabag was on there. I think I watched one episode of that and just couldn't get into it. So I don't have any other ones.
Never even heard of it.
Well, get some culture and class. Okay, I'm going to stop it.
If you smell.
Did The Rock ever specify exactly what he was cooking?
Not yet. Maybe someday.